overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 Tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 Tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots. That
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're gonna get seated this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Yesterday was the talk of the town. It was a cow on the side of the road.
Do you live close to a movie theater? I'm just curious because maybe the cow was trying to go to the movies.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope if you ever find yourself in the NBA, you never find yourself having to guard Jalen Brunson in the final seconds of a tie game, because that doesn't seem like fun at all. Asar Thompson learned that the hard way last night. So the Knicks move on. The Pistons are eliminated. We'll discuss all things NBA playoffs momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes, Jessica Benson is going to show me. She, of course, is the host of the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, weekdays 8 a.m. Grind City Media. She'll pop in studio. She'll sit in that chair. We'll talk NBA. We'll do it in the next segment. Finish talking to Jess, take a break. Come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the Phoenix Suns have a new general manager. I was surprised when I saw the headline, and I've known the guy for 20 years.
Okay.
Didn't see this coming. I'll tell you more about it. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. Tyrese Halliburton's father, his name's John Halliburton, will not be attending any Pacers games for the, quote, foreseeable future. Get you updated on that situation that came to a head 2 nights ago with Giannis Antetokounmpo and John Halliburton getting face-to-face. We'll tell you about that a little later on in the show. Lakers coach J.J. Redick met with the media yesterday and said his team needs to, quote, get in championship shape this offseason. Looking at you, Luka. We'll discuss that in just a bit. A man who was announced as the Powerball winner of $167 million on Monday was arrested for kicking a cop in the face later on this same week.
Oh.
Can you imagine getting $167 million at the beginning of the week and spending the end of it in jail? It's proof that money can't buy you sense. I'll walk you through that story in the second hour. And Thunderbolts is the big Marvel release this weekend. Obscure characters, great reviews. I'll ask Ben if he plans to see it. And we'll do that during a 7-week off. 5 more things you need to know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with the 2025 NBA playoffs because we had 2 games last night. We got one more tonight. And before we look ahead, I think it's best to look backwards. Let's start in the Western Conference where the Clippers evened their best-of-7 series late last night with a 6-point victory over the Nuggets. Final score, Los Angeles 111, Denver 105. Kawhi Leonard and James Harden combined for 55 points on 42 shots. Norman Powell added 24. Nobody else for the Clippers got more than 10. And now the Clippers and Nuggets, they're going to play Game 7. The first Game 7 of this postseason. It's going to be tomorrow in Denver, 6:30 tip. The winner's going to advance to a best-of-7 series against Oklahoma City. The loser is done. And as of this moment, the Clippers are listed as a 1.5-point favorite on the road, which means the betting markets have made Nikola Jokic, 30-year-old, 3-time MVP, and current best player in the world. They have made this man an underdog in an elimination game at home. Big Bet Bennett, do you find that disrespectful at all?
Not really. Not really. I mean, you got to keep in mind, they fired their coach not that long ago. Like, it would.
Fact.
I do not think it would be that shocking for the Nuggets to lose this series, even as a higher seed.
It's the best player in the world at home. And on the other side, no-show James Harden.
Dude.
No-show James Harden in Game 7s.
This makes me want to throw up saying this a little bit.
You going to throw up?
I found myself rooting for the Clippers last night.
How did you find yourself in this position?
I don't know.
How did you end up like
what's
this?
wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been a James Harden hater forever. I think he ruined the NBA. But
you think James Harden ruined the NBA?
He didn't ruin it. The NBA's doing great, but the fouls. Foul baiting. He's the original foul baiter. He's the original foul merchant. Remember we were chanting foul merchant in this building a few weeks ago?
James Harden walked.
That wasn't that long ago.
James Harden crawled so Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could walk.
Correct. So I'm a bit of a Harden hater, but man, they got this veteran-laden team, They're kind of the underdogs in their own city. They got this new arena, and now people are going to the games and getting wild and stuff. I don't know. Something about it. I don't know. Something's making me root. I don't want to. I don't want to root for them. I do not want to root for them at all.
You realize it was probably less than a year ago. In fact, I'm certain less than a year ago that people were saying things about the Clippers, and those things were things like, they just need to blow this up. What are they doing? You're going nowhere.
Kawhi's never going to play.
Kawhi's always hurt. Harden's a loser. Paul George is on his way to Philadelphia. You've got this new arena, and I guess they're trying to just kind of stay okay because it's the new arena, and you don't want to go into your new arena being terrible and in a rebuild. But if they were smart about this, they would just blow this thing up and start over.
Yes.
Well, now they're literally favored in a Game 7 to advance to the Western Conference semifinals. My point being this, because we've been having blow-it-up conversations around these parts over the past week. I don't know if you've been paying attention.
Yes, I have been paying attention closely.
And sometimes blowing it up is a sensible move, but there are multiple examples existing right now where people said if they were smart, if they knew what they were doing, they would break this thing up because this core is not ever going to accomplish anything of significance. And perhaps, they'll just get run out of this thing even if they advance to the Western Conference semifinals by the number 1 seed. As always, we'll see. But looked like they were having a fun time last night.
It did.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they are, again, favored on the road in Denver in a Game 7.
I also want Oklahoma City to lose, and I think that the Clippers have a better shot at winning that series than the Nuggets do. That's where I'm at. I think if I was going to pick one of those two teams to beat the Thunder in the next round, I think I would pick the Clippers. So that's why I want them to win this series.
I think the Clippers are a tougher matchup for Oklahoma City than a banged-up Denver Nuggets team.
Yeah.
But Jokic always gives you a fighting chance.
He's the X factor.
He's
That's
just
true.
a monster in a variety of ways. James Harden, if you're wondering, Game 7s in his career, 21.3 points, 36% shooting from the field, 22% shooting from 3 points, and both of those shooting percentages down from his career norms. So it's not just a thing that's attached to him out of nowhere. The truth is he doesn't typically show up in game sevens and hasn't always been great in elimination games. But in an elimination game last night, by definition, he was pretty good. He was pretty good. So perhaps James Harden has turned a corner. As always, we'll see. Clippers Nuggets, game 7. That's going to be tomorrow night. The Pistons were not as fortunate in their game 6 to beat the Knicks and force a game 7. That one happened in the Eastern Conference playoffs last night. The final score was Knicks 116, Detroit 113. It was death by Jalen Brunson.
Heard that before.
Woo! Pistons were actually up 7 points with 2:24 remaining. We seemed like we were headed for a game 7, but then Jalen Brunson hit an and-1 floater, cut that lead to 4. Next possession, another Brunson bucket, cuts it to 2. Fast forward to the final 20 seconds, and we're tied 113-113. Unsurprisingly, it's Jalen Brunson time. Let's watch it together, what he did to a Thompson twin to end Detroit's season.
Thompson digging in defensively, 8 seconds. Brunson stops on a dime, launches. Oh, yeah! Jalen Brunson buries it. Knicks lead by 3. The Brunson burner ignited.
Just awesome stuff.
Is he pointing at the crowd?
He's awesome.
I'm just kidding.
He's awesome. He's built for that.
Yes, he is.
You know, he was named the clutch player of the year. I don't even know what that means, but it's something that he was labeled, and then he delivers that. He finishes with 40 points in 42 minutes, and that is one of the greatest perimeter defenders in the world on him, Asar Thompson. His brother's terrific, too.
They are damn good
at that.
They are really good at that.
I remember when they first signed with Overtime Elite. Like, they were the first young guys to sign with Overtime Elite. And they were so young that I didn't have a good grasp for even who they were. I had heard of the Thompson twins, but they were very young and just not quite. They hadn't reached the age where if you go to Peach Jam, you would have seen them for sure by now. And I just remember then you start asking questions about them, and it's like, you know, they're young, we'll see, but they look the right way, and they move the right way, and both of them are just elite at least one thing. The truth about NBA players is if you can be elite at multiple things, well, then that's how you become a Hall of Famer. The overwhelming majority of these guys, can you be great at something? And what is that something? And then just maximize it. And Asar Thompson can he can take on that responsibility. It's just that responsibility is tough when it's Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
And that play is outrageous. I don't know who could have guarded that. I mean, he was trying to force him left, as you saw. I mean, he's pushing him that way. And when you can stop like that and then cross over through the legs with all his momentum going this way, again, I can't, he didn't do that to Zach Edey.
Right.
That's one of the great perimeter defenders in the world. And it looked like Jordan 98 game 6 in the sense that you stop and the guy guard you just keeps going. But Jordan really pushed off. Famously, Jalen didn't do much of that here. He just lost him. He just created the space, got back to the top of the key, and then you're just going to knock that shot down. Just an absolute killer. He's made it the right stuff, man. And it is wild to think about this.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Just a few years ago, the Dallas Mavericks had him and Luka Doncic on the roster.
One. Just pick one and you're good for a long time.
Just pick one and there are two big market, high profile franchises that think they're going into their futures of championships with two dudes that were in your franchise just a few years ago. Yeah. The Los Angeles Lakers believe they're going to win championships with Luka Doncic. He was yours. The New York Knicks believe they're going to win a championship with Jalen Brunson. He was yours.
Yeah.
You gave one away and refused to pay the other one.
Yep. Man, and they got a chance to really the Knicks got a chance to really exercise some demons in this next series.
Well, I mean, in theory, but they're playing a team they can't beat, or at least they have shown no ability to beat.
I can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I'm really rooting for them.
Like, in terms of just just the scene is going to be awesome, but the Knicks were not competitive with the Celtics this season. And you start watching NBA analysts like the people who live and die with this stuff and get paid to go on TV and talk about it, not very many people are giving New York a legitimate chance. But as long as you've got Madison Square Garden in Midtown Manhattan and Jalen Brunson, I mean, I ain't ruling anything out.
Yeah.
I ain't ruling anything out. Knicks Celtics.
That'd be fine.
Should be incredible. Let's look ahead to tonight.
Okay.
Rockets Warriors. One game on the schedule. It's a game 6 inside the Chase Center. Closeout game for Golden State. Rockets need to win to force a game 7. Steph Curry is expected to play, but he does have that thumb injury that it's constantly been wrapped. He had ice on it the other night. Dylan Brooks intentionally, by his own admission,
that scoundrel
re-aggravated it. I know that's part of sports. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, I don't think that's cool. Like, I don't intentionally trying to injure or re-aggravate somebody else's injury. I know it's a part of sports forever and always. I don't think, like,
he just said the quiet part out loud.
I get it. I know I'm in the minority here.
Yeah.
But when I hear somebody say, yeah, I know and this is paraphrasing, but I know his thumb is hurt, I'm going to hit it as much as possible if I can hurt him even more. And he didn't say all this, but like this is the extension of it. I know he's hurt. He's trying to play through it. The rules allow me to hit his hand. They just do. And so
They'll
I'm going to
change that. That's
this
offseason. Yes, that's getting changed.
This offseason.
Yep.
They're going to allow me to hit his hand. And so I'm going to try to hit his hand every time. Hard. And the hope is that he is in so much pain that he cannot continue. That's the hope. That just feels wrong to me. I understand it's sports and I get it. It just feels wrong to
Icky.
me. It just feels wrong to me. But I can't wait. Tonight should be awesome. I don't make a point too often to just sit down and watch non-Grizzly NBA games, like possession by possession. Hey, let's close everything. Let's just watch this basketball game. I'll do that tonight.
Yeah.
You get Draymond popping off on one side. You get Dylan Brooks on the other. Every time Steph and Dylan get matched up, they're going to have 17,000 cameras on it, zoomed in on the hand. There will be a moment tonight, whether it involves Dylan Brooks and Draymond Green or Steph Curry and Alperen Şengün or Fred VanVleet and some. There's going to be a moment tonight where everybody's ready to go.
Yeah.
That's going to happen at some point.
No question.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I heard them talking about it on Vernon's show yesterday. That game, the last game between the Rockets and Warriors, it is so eerily similar to that Grizzlies game when they played them in that series and beat them by 50, and then the Warriors just destroyed them the next game. It did have a feel like that where you're just okay. We're not because dude, Steve Kerr set them with 5 minutes left in the third. And it was still a 20-point game. They would have had a chance to get back in it, and they were like, "Nah, we're gonna rest up."
It'll probably be fine.
Yeah,
they'll probably win.
Risky.
They'll probably win tonight. And here's the truth: you say it's risky, perhaps, but had he played his starters deeper into the third quarter, into the fourth, they probably still lose the game. They're probably still in the same.
So.
They're probably still in the same spot. But they were very comfortable punting, for lack of a better verb. At a time when most NBA teams wouldn't.
Yes.
NBA teams would eventually punt if the score didn't get better, but not that early. That was unusually early. And part of the reason they're comfortable doing that is they quite literally referenced the Grizzlies series in 2022. Draymond Green talked about it. We were in Memphis. They busted us up real good.
Whoop that trick.
Draymond's
trick. Getting into it.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
We were fine because then we knew we could come back home and finish them. And that's exactly what we did. And that's what we plan to do here. We'll punt on game 5, come back home for game 6, and finish them off on a Friday night. If I remember correctly, the finish them off Grizzlies game was on a Friday night as well.
I think so.
I think I remember we went and watched it at a friend's house, and it was a Saturday night little, not a party, but a 4-person, let's actually order food and get some drinks and watch the game together at somebody's house. I believe it was a Friday night. And it's a perfectly great strategy as long as it works. If I were a Warriors fan, I would be concerned about this. Just because you have some history 3 years ago of punting on a what was a closeout game for you, and then just getting it back home and then handling your business. Like, just because you were comfortable in that situation before and you feel comfortable in it now, like, it could be a deal where you get caught tonight. Now you got to go back there. And
True.
It just reminds me of, again, but like, oh yeah, I probably should leave for the airport at this time. But I remember this one time I left at this other time and it was fine. And this other time I left at this time and it was fine. And so forever and always going forward, I'm just going to leave at this time and it'll probably be fine. Maybe, but what if it's not? What if you get caught one time in traffic, behind a wreck, whatever? Like, just assuming something went okay one time, it'll always be okay every other time. I don't know that that's sound logic. To be clear, I think they'll be fine. But as they were giving up on that game a few nights ago, I couldn't help but think this is the type of thing that can come back to get you, and you look back on it with the benefit of hindsight and wonder if the lackadaisical approach or lack of urgency and like, hey, let's finish these guys right now, the lack of urgency connected to that, whether that can come back and bite you. I doubt it. I wouldn't predict it, but let's see how tonight goes. Jessica Benson in studio next.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Bain drives.
Oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jaren with a knockaway.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go!
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting the NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with, where you have a better chance.
But
of
you get a
sticking.
lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think
do?
you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. It's a yucky day outside. It's a yucky day outside. This doesn't look like festival weather.
There must be a festival in Memphis.
Jessica Benson's in studio. She's the host of the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, weekdays 8 a.m., Grind City Media. She's got big festival plans this weekend, but this does not look like festival weather, Jessica. Are you concerned? Are you growing concerned?
I'm a little concerned, as anyone would be.
Sure.
But I believe. I've been to many festivals in May in Memphis where the weather has not looked particularly great.
Right? And it usually isn't
And it
great.
usually works.
But it's usually not great.
Weather's not great,
Yeah.
but somehow it all comes together, and you have enough time where you're not forced to evacuate the park.
I had to evacuate a park
I
recently.
had to evacuate a park.
I had to evacuate a park in San Antonio.
Oh.
The outdoor festival thing there.
Yeah.
Got off set, decided to go see Doechii. Had to evacuate the park. Did not get to see Doechii. They had to.
The last time I evacuated a park was years ago at this point, and it was when Memphis in May did their 1 year at the Liberty Bowl, and it was Meg the
So
Stallion.
I remember. I wanted to go to that, and then I remembered it was really late at night. Yeah.
I stayed, and she didn't go on until like midnight.
Yeah.
But those of us who stayed,
Yeah.
it paid off. Hey.
You ain't the first person to
Hey.
stay up past midnight for Meg the Stallion, if you know what I
No.
mean. I don't know what I mean.
Probably not.
I don't know what I mean by that.
That money would wait to see that she's worth waiting for.
I think so.
I think so.
I think so.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Let's say we have to evacuate the park tonight.
Oh,
you have
that'd
a
be
choice
tough.
to come back.
Yeah.
I'd go back for Missy Elliott.
Okay.
I would absolutely go back for Missy Elliott.
Okay.
I heard her during her sound check yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Sounds like a great set.
So she's
all
tonight.
the hits. She's tonight. She, Ludacris, Busta Rhymes, and Steve Aoki up 5:30 p.m. It's an early.
Yeah, that's a weird
I
time
usually
for him.
see Steve Aoki at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to let the Molly kick in before he took the
God,
stage.
I never heard of her. Who's Molly?
I don't know.
Is that your friend?
No.
Oh.
No.
Are you gonna go see him?
Yeah, I will be there at 5:30.
Are you gonna try to be the cake person?
No.
You know he throws the
Yes.
cake in the
Not me.
crowd.
Not me.
Why?
I
Get
don't
Chris to put you on his shoulders and get the cake sign.
Does your husband carry you around at a festival?
He has.
Will you?
Yeah, he would.
If you
we've done
said,
it.
if you said, can I get on your shoulders
done
right
it.
now? Would he be enthusiastic about that?
Depends how many drinks he's had.
Sober, he would be hesitant. 7 drinks, he'd say, jump up
I'd
here.
say even like 3 drinks.
3
He'd
drinks
be
will
like,
do
oh,
it.
let's go for it.
Okay.
Sober, he's like, oh, I'm getting older.
Uh-huh.
We moved to bed this week. Both of our backs are feeling a little under the weather.
It's tough.
Yeah, all of a sudden you realize you can't just go about and bop around and be like, we need to move a bed upstairs. Let's just do it. For the last 3 days, we've been like, oh my God.
It is weird when you just wake up and you just hurt. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
get. You don't even know yet.
No, I know.
You don't even
I
know.
don't wanna know.
You don't even know
I'm
what's
not
in store.
ready.
You don't even know what's in store for you.
I'm not ready.
I walk around hurting.
I don't want that.
Oh, it's coming.
I mean, I want it because I want to grow old and, experience all the things that aging has to do.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
That part is so anyway, Chris should probably think twice at this point in our lives. Like when I was younger,
Yeah.
I was a big on my dad's shoulders kid.
Okay.
So I was built for this life. Like my dad carried me on his shoulders far longer than he ever should have. And he taught, like my dad was also an older dad.
Sure.
So he should have been thinking about his shoulders and
That's
his
right.
neck. But like anytime we were in Disney World, it was like, can I get on your shoulders to watch the fireworks? And not like as an adult, please don't be weird. But like when I was like,
I wasn't being weird. You're the one getting weird about it. I didn't say
when I was
anything.
like, what's the cutoff for sitting on someone's shoulders when you're a kid?
Tell me the oldest you were the
I think
last
I
time
was
you.
like
27.
No, well, actually, oh God. Well, then we like recreated a picture once, and that was a mistake.
Okay, just keep talking. Let's see how.
I don't want
let's see.
to.
Let's see how.
I don't want to.
Let's see how.
I don't
let's
wanna
see how
continue.
honest you'll get about your
My
shoulder
favorite
sitting.
shoulder moment of all time. I got
You
on my
have
friend's
one. I don't
shoulders
even know that I have
at
one.
Coachella, and it was Easter Sunday.
Okay.
And we were seeing Calvin Harris.
Yeah, I've
and
seen
I was
Calvin
on her
Harris.
shoulders, and I immediately posted it. Someone took a picture of it, and I posted it on Instagram with the caption, "She is risen." And my mom, within like 30 minutes, had texted me and been like, "Jessica Jane Benson, take this down."
You're mocking Jesus Christ.
No, I understood the rising fact. I was supportive of the Easter Sunday message in that case, having the time of my life.
Some people would say that's mocking Jesus Christ.
No, I had a flower crown on.
Oh well, then that fixes it.
Thank you. I thought so.
I saw Calvin Harris one time.
Oh, did you enjoy it?
I think I did. You know who I was with?
Who?
I'm not even going to say.
No, now you have to say. I'll tell you the last time I sat on my dad's shoulder.
Okay. Chris Beard and his ex-girlfriend.
Oh, amazing. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
They broke up.
I'm aware.
You know the story?
I know the story.
I mean, it wasn't just us three. I wasn't like the third wheel.
Okay.
It was a group of people, but they were in the group.
but
And I
you
will
were
tell
there.
you,
Okay.
no incidents that night.
Cool.
It was perfectly.
That's great.
It was a good night.
I got on my dad's shoulders trying to recreate a picture of one of our like iconic dad-daughter photos. I'm probably like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's my first game at Coors Field, and our first game after we moved to Denver and went to a Rockies game. And I'm on my dad's shoulders downtown Denver, and like Coors Field is in the background. And the year after I graduated college, so I would have been like 22. We went to a Dodgers game on Father's Day, and we thought it would be funny if we recreated the picture, and we did it. But looking back, we were both like, that was a mistake. That was at some point, like, you just can't do that anymore. It was a lot.
Well, it seems sweet.
It was a sweet sentiment.
At its core, it's a sweet thing.
Thank you.
Let's just call it a sweet thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's call it a sweet thing and leave it right there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
You went to Calvin Harris.
It was one of those things. You're out in Vegas for grassroots basketball stuff, and it's like
a group ball gets together and goes
somewhere. Somebody says, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this tonight?"
Yeah.
Calvin Harris is at Hakkasan at MG and Grand. Would you be interested in doing this tonight if we got a group? If we can get like 10 people and throw in X amount of dollars each, we can get the table, bottle service, the whole deal. And then you just show up and you see who's there. You say, I'm in, and you show up and see who's there. And then
now you have that story for the rest of
and
your
then
life.
you see who's there, and it's like, oh, look who's here.
Yeah.
It was a perfectly reasonable night that night. We had a good time.
Yeah.
We had a good time. Let me ask you a question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Because I've asked Chris Vernon this question.
Okay.
I asked Mike Wallace this question.
Oh.
They had very different answers.
Oh.
So now I want to ask you the question.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a consensus up here on the fourth floor.
Okay.
I know it takes two to tango.
That's what they say.
Sometimes it takes more to tango.
I don't know. I spent last offseason in Argentina where I saw a lot of traditional tango, and most of the time it's two.
I know, but sometimes it takes three to tango.
That's true, actually. I went to a tango show where there were like 12 people tangoing.
And in terms of NBA trades, sometimes you have to bring a third team in.
Correct.
Sometimes it could take three to tango.
Yes.
There is multi-team tangoing.
Absolutely.
Okay. I know it takes multiple people to
polyamorous tangoing.
I know it takes multiple people to tango, okay? And just because you want to do something doesn't mean you can get something done. But if I put Jessica Benson, host of the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt.
Well, we're putting the full government name on it.
If I put Jessica Benson in charge of the Memphis Grizzlies, what is the thing you would try to do to fix this roster? Let me give you some examples.
Oh, I would love examples.
For instance, Chris Vernon said, I would just add veterans who have won something.
Yes.
You know, just like that. I'm not messing around with the core three, but that's maybe. But I'd start with, let's look at adding veterans who have accomplished something. Get some adults in the room. All right. Mike Wallace said he would start by hiring a no-nonsense coach.
Okay.
Seemed to suggest he would go in a different direction than where we might be headed. And also said he would look at the core three. At some point, it's not working. We're 5 years into this thing, and that might be the place to get the biggest fix. What would Jessica Benson do?
You have to look at everything, even if you don't like it. I am both emotionally invested in the core three and still holding on to the belief that there could be more to be seen by those three leading this team. So I really do sit in the space of what's the best thing you could add around them, and how do you go out and make that deal? Because like you said, two to tango, multi to tango. What do you have? What pieces are you willing to give up? And I think you should be willing to really do anything to bring in. I know Zach Kleiman said they're not just one veteran wing away from competing for a championship, but I think it helps. I think it significantly changes you being an 8 seed versus being a better seed.
Here's the thing about all that. Like, we act like there's this massive
it's right there.
It's like 2 wins and you're in the Western Conference semifinals.
Yes, and it's not as if other than the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we'll see.
Nobody else is that far ahead of you.
How they show against either the Clippers or the Nuggets, but as I'm watching the Clippers and the Nuggets exhaust themselves to death through this series, I can't help but think the Thunder, they're going to be pretty well rested for at least the first 2 games that they have in that series. You're not miles away. Like, by no means am I in, we'll blow it all up and build it back together. That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of really horrible years. And I don't use horrible. There's way more horrible things to happen than your basketball team losing a lot of games as they try to rebuild.
Oh, really? Name it.
If River Beat were to rain out Missy Elliott tonight, I'd be really disappointed.
Honestly, much more disappointed in the Grizzlies than I would be with anything that have to do with Missy Elliott in this moment.
That's fine. But all that to say,
I am more disappointed in the Grizzlies than I am Missy Elliott.
I think you go and you
weather.
figure out the best veteran wing that you can get this offseason. And I do want them to be older. I would love someone over the age of 30 to be added to even if it's the pieces around that wing, just a couple older heads
We
in that locker
need to get
room.
more age appropriate around here.
Yeah, but it does turn into this thing too. I mean, like, people don't get younger. We're not Benjamin Buttoning it for lack of I don't even think that's the right phrase, because Benjamin Button looked younger but got older. Is that correct? It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
That's
Ja,
right.
Jaren, and Dez are getting older too. So as you get older, you become more steadfast in your ways, and it becomes more like the age gap thing. I think becomes a situation in sports, but you need someone who genuinely has experience on competing teams, and who has some age and wisdom behind them. Put it around Ja, Jaren, and Dez, and then see where we're at the trade deadline next.
That is what
middle of the season.
That's more or less what Mike Wallace suggested. Like, hey, we're going to give you guys a chance to run it back.
Yes.
But we will pull the trigger on this
I don't
thing.
want full run it. It needs to be run it back.
Oh, no,
asterisk.
no. I don't, and I don't want to speak for Mike Wallace.
Okay.
But the way I interpreted what he said, and I think this is more or less where I'm at as well, I would look at everything, and I mean just about everything.
Yeah.
Everything. There's nothing you could say, or very few things you could say that I would say, no, that's a non-starter with me. I'd listen to almost anything, particularly when you think about the other big names that could be out there available for deals.
If we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, like, I'm changing a lot of my thoughts.
Yes, there is nothing that is off the table in a possible Giannis deal. All right, I ain't married to nobody that much.
No.
But I think where I'm at, short of something big like that, is yes, add veterans around the core three. Promote your interim if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But this is short leash stuff next season. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it could be real short leash stuff. We ain't playing 28 minutes a game in the opening week of the season.
No.
We are going to go from worst in the league in starters minutes to top 10 in starters minutes.
If you can play, you're playing.
If you can play, you're playing. We're going to emphasize winning regular season games. We're going to make it important again. We got away from it last year. I don't know exactly who's responsible for that, but somebody got away from winning matters. And that's the biggest failure in this entire season, is the approach to the regular season. Because if you just approach the regular season differently, or like most franchises do, you're in a totally different situation right now. And you ready? Probably still playing right now if you just approach the regular season differently.
Even if you're just in a long series. Look,
Even
we're
if
still
you're
talking
just
about the first round.
Even if you're just in a long series, you're probably still
you
alive
at least
today.
won 2 games in your series, and you're still around. Yes.
Okay.
We agree.
So I'm looking at adding veterans. I'm going to supplement the core three with that. Hope for all the normal stuff you hope for. Vince and Gigi, if they're still on the roster, take a leap and all that stuff. But if they get off to a rough start, or we get to the trade deadline and it's like, hey, you're the 7th in the West right now. Like, I'm ready. Now I'm done. I just told you. Maybe last season, and I'm talking about this season, maybe this season the reason you only won 48 games and finished 8th in the West, maybe that's front office's fault on some level, because we didn't push it the way we should have. We're pushing it this time. And if you finish 7th or 8th, like, that's...
Yes.
We're blowing it up. Then we are. Not just blowing it up to blowing it up.
There just has to be
But
an
we are
urgency.
actively moving somebody. So one of you dudes is getting out of here. If you three can't together have us at the trade deadline thinking we are a legitimate championship contender, or a legitimate can advance in the playoffs, and
you are beating teams who matter.
and there's actually data to support it. We ain't just sitting here like, hey, we're okay. I feel good about it. There's data to support it. Look at their record against the top 6 in the East and the top 6 in the West. All the stuff that were detriments this season, they're positives next season, or else somebody's getting out of here. We ain't going to keep doing this. I'll give you to the trade deadline. That's where I'm at. And that goes for the coach too.
Yes.
We ain't, it takes time. It better not.
I know.
It better not take time. Because if it takes time, you won't be here. That's where I would be with it. I'm going to let it go, but we will not be post-trade deadline
And I think that's the
in a bad spot with the same
consensus
core.
agreement that no matter how you feel this offseason is approached in the immediate future, the middle future of that trade deadline has to have an urgency behind it. Like, it just has to be different, because it cannot repeat. You cannot run it back and have a repeat of this year where you are one of the play-in teams in the Western Conference. Because at that point, what are you doing it for? Like, I know we sometimes hinge too much on the immediacy of a championship window. And we're like, oh, those windows close. But they do. They really do. And it is hard to start from scratch. So while you still have legitimate pieces involved, you have to be doing whatever you can to try to win.
There are already people who will tell you that if you've had 5 years of this core together, and I know they haven't all been healthy at the same time, but that's not my fault.
Yeah.
You've had 5 years of this core together. They are 9-18 in playoff games and 1-4 in playoff series. There are plenty of people who will already tell you it doesn't work. There's no evidence that this works. I'm willing to give it one more shot. I am willing to give it one more shot. I would take everybody's phone call, explore everything short of that.
Yes.
But if it ends up where the faces of it's opening night and the billboard's up and there's Ja, Jaren, and Dez again, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. But I will not let it go past the trade deadline if I do not genuinely believe this is a core that is doing things that make me think playoff success is right around the corner and I have data to support it. If I have no data to support it or no belief to assign to it, it's time to go.
Legitimate question. What if that billboard is Ja, Jaren, Dez, Zach Edey, and Jalen Wells at the beginning of the season? How do you feel?
I still think that's a starting lineup that can win a lot of games.
Okay.
But my bigger issue would be that's your starting lineup. I can live with that starting lineup to start the season. I cannot live with that starting lineup playing 28 minutes a game. Like I will go crazy over that again.
Yes.
Like that is the biggest failure of the season.
Well, and
Don't do that again.
That is the easiest.
You can't have three guys making $100 million and then decide not to play them a lot.
That is the easiest thing to move on from because, in whatever arguments you want to have on who this lost season, where the blame lands, there was a coaching change that was made. And after that coaching change, those players' minutes went up significantly. And they've been in the process of going up. I don't want to rewrite history, but they went up, one, because you're in the tail end of your season fighting for your playoff positioning lives. Two, because there was a coaching change made. So you can easily put that on the shoulders of the guy who's gone and say, we will not do this again. But then if you don't see that, then who are you putting the blame on from this season? I do think it creates a conundrum.
I'll raise my hand and ask the question.
It doesn't create a conundrum.
I'll
You
be
have to see
happy
it.
to raise my
Yeah, I
hand
know you will.
and
You
say,
have been on it for a long
who should I
time.
blame? I'll let you guys tell me who is responsible for Jaren Jackson playing 28 minutes and John Morant playing 29 while the other team's best players play 36 and 37.
Yeah.
Who is responsible for that? You guys tell me, and that'll be the person I yell about. I won't pick. You can tell me who is responsible for that, and that'll be the thing I yell about.
But show that you have placed value on
Show that you
winning
learned from
regular
this.
season games.
I understand getting a little too.
Lessons learned.
Show me you learned something.
Yeah.
Your biggest failure connected to this season is the approach to the regular season
Yeah, I agree.
that put you in a 7-game series with the Thunder that only lasted 4. Show me you learned something from that.
I don't want to be sitting here on May 2nd of next year talking about the same exact thing. That is the last thing that I want to do.
Right.
I want to be in the playoffs still. I want to be covering a team that is still playing.
Right.
I'm watching the playoff games every night saying, this is awesome. You want to know what would be more awesome? If the Grizzlies were playing.
Wouldn't it, though?
And I could be a part of it.
Wouldn't that
we could
be
all
more
be a
fun?
part of it.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I have severe FOMO.
I'm looking forward to going home tonight and watching the Warriors and
God.
Rockets. You know what I'd rather be doing? Watching the Warriors and Grizzlies.
Yes.
Or the Rockets and Grizzlies.
Yes.
Or the Grizzlies and
You want to
anybody.
know what I wouldn't care missing Missy Elliott for? A playoff game?
Yes. Yes.
Instead, my husband's going to have Warriors Rockets up on his phone, pissing me off.
And you've got to spend the first Friday of May.
You're going to have to go to the dentist right now.
See what I'm talking about?
It's a tough Friday.
See what I'm talking about?
You want to know why the dentist appointment came up? Because the season ended.
That's right.
I told the dentist I can come when the season ends.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be having to go to the dentist today where they're going to tell me I should floss more if the Grizzlies were still playing.
They told me.
Is
They told me I should floss more too. I went to the
They tell
dentist.
me every
I
time.
went to this dentist this week. She said, your gums sure are sensitive.
Oh, God, I'm going to get it. I don't want to. I'm going to get in so much trouble.
I looked right at her. You know what I said?
I know.
I said, you're the only person in this world who touches my gums. Do you know
And she
that?
said, that's a problem because you should be touching your gums
I
every
said,
night.
you touch. I said, I'm loyal to you. You're the only woman I want touching my gums.
Yeah.
And she said, but you should touch your own gums. And I said,
Whoa.
Whoa.
I don't know you like that.
Whoa. This seems like a wild conversation to be having. They always try to. I stopped lying to the dentist.
Yes.
Do you lie to the dentist?
No, I'm going to go in there today and I'm going to be like, please just understand that all of my extras in life fell to the wayside over the last 3 months.
I lie.
and
I
will
used
try
to lie.
get back.
I used to lie. I stopped lying. You can't lie to them. They know.
They know. The last time we went about this, I started using a water flosser.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
But I shower so early in the morning. You're telling me to remember that I need to fill up my water flosser before I get in the shower at like 4:50.
That is what they're telling
I
you.
don't remember to do it. And then I'll look at the water flosser like just staring me in the face and it's empty. And it would require me to reset because you can't fill it up with the shower water because the flow of the shower, the hole is too small on the water flosser. So you would have to go and do it in the sink or like do the bath water type thing. And I'm not doing that.
Why don't you just buy the little pick things that you can carry with you? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but those don't do as good of enough of a job.
Well, you get that. Yeah,
Better than nothing, Bennett says.
Okay.
Bennett says better than nothing.
Keep that thing.
Look
on
at
me.
that.
I keep that thing on me.
You have the floss pick.
I keep that thing on me.
Look at Bennett.
Always. I'm always picking.
Wow.
Look at Bennett.
All right, I'm inspired.
I like to floss. I like to
I'm
floss.
inspired. I'm inspired.
It's refreshing.
You like to floss?
I like to floss. Yeah.
Okay.
I like to floss.
I should start flossing more.
Yeah.
Me too.
And by more, I mean just every once in a while.
Hey, if the Grizzlies play their starters more next season,
Yep.
we'll floss more.
I'll make that deal right now. I'm happy to make that deal right now. Get anybody over here. I'll shake hands on
My
it.
dentist will be so happy.
Hey, get to the dentist.
I'm going.
Do not be late for your appointment.
I won't.
Do not be reckless with the dentist time.
I won't.
All right?
My dentist is a timely dentist.
They get you in and out of there.
Hell yeah.
All right. Hey, I hope your gums don't bleed too much.
Thanks, me too. They're going to.
They will.
I tried. I flossed the last 3 nights, and I was like, oh god.
That's not enough. That's not enough. That's like I got a date this weekend. I'm going to start running. It's over with. Too late to run.
I know.
You should run in advance of your next
I'm like,
date.
but what if I make them bleed enough that there's no blood left by the time that I go on Friday?
What if you bleed to death?
Oh, that's horrible.
You won't.
All right, thanks. Have a great weekend, GB.
Floss like 5 good times, then you won't bleed anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
So if I
I'm
had done
telling
it
you.
5 days and not 3 days, I could
telling
be
you.
in a better situation.
Got to plan ahead. You
Ay,
didn't plan
ay,
ahead.
ay.
That's Jessica Benson. Her gums are terrible. She's on her way to the dentist. She'll be back in studio 8 o'clock on Monday. We come back. We'll stay in the NBA. The Phoenix Suns have a new general manager, and he's a former college basketball coach who I genuinely didn't even know was working in the NBA. Now he's running a whole NBA franchise. What a wild world we live in these days. We'll talk about that next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
In honor of George Foreman, decided to do a pick 6 on 6 greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
Number 4, my guy, Mike Tyson. There is no greater feat that I've had. Like if I had my Mount Rushmore of things that I've accomplished in my life, the very first time I beat Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots. That
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they gonna get seeded this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The Phoenix Suns have a new general manager, and his name's Brian Gregory. And if that sounds familiar, it should. He's a former college head coach for roughly 2 decades, South Florida, Dayton, and Georgia Tech. I genuinely had no idea Brian Gregory was working in the NBA, and now he's the general manager of the Phoenix Suns. Can you imagine if I tell you in a 5-year span, this is what's going to happen to you, roughly? You'll be fired at South Florida, but run an NBA franchise. How do those things happen, you think?
Well, you'd have to tell me what the NBA franchise was.
Phoenix Suns, just to keep it factual.
They hadn't been doing too well lately. Maybe it makes sense.
Fired at South Florida.
Yeah.
After 5 losing seasons in a 6-year span.
Yeah, I remember him well at South Florida.
Fired in South Florida in March 2023.
Didn't Tyler Harris play for him? I think he did.
Probably.
I think he did.
Fired at South Florida in March 2023, roughly 2 years later, running the Phoenix Suns. How's that happen?
That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I really, truly do wonder how that happens.
I can tell you
how.
Brian Gregory, before he was the coach at Dayton and Georgia Tech and South Florida, was an assistant coach at Michigan State for Tom Izzo.
Okay.
While he was an assistant coach for Tom Izzo at Michigan State, Matt Ishbia, who owns the Phoenix Suns, was a walk-on at Michigan State.
There it is.
Brian Gregory literally coached Matt Ishbia, the Suns owner, when he was in college, and they've clearly maintained a relationship. And when Brian Gregory needed a job, he was like, come work in the front office in Phoenix. And I imagine Brian's been so impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know, on some level that you hand him the job. But I saw this yesterday. I was like, that Brian Gregory?
Yeah.
I just saw the tweet. It was like Brian Gregory, new general manager of the Suns. I'm like, that Brian Gregory? Happy for him.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a wild. You don't think. I bet on the day you get fired as an AAC basketball coach, you don't think you'll be running the Suns in 2 years.
No.
You know?
No.
That's not normally how this goes, right?
Maybe Penny put in a good word. Penny played for the Suns once upon a time.
Penny did play for the Suns
Yeah,
once upon
maybe
a time.
put in a good word.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Happy
Doesn't
for
even make
Brian
sense.
Gregory. He's the new Phoenix Suns general manager. Good for him.
Good for him. Good for him, man.
Good for him.
Number 2.
If you like seeing John Halliburton, Tyrese Halliburton's father, courtside at games, just know that's over for the, quote, foreseeable future.
Darn.
The Pacers.
It did make for a fun day of talking.
The Pacers and John Halliburton have reached an agreement, and he is not going to be attending Pacers games, home or away, for the, quote, foreseeable future. This is the right move. You don't have to call it a suspension or a banning. You just say, hey, we talked, and we're just not going to do this anymore. But this is the right move. I mean, you can't do what he did. Giannis handled it beautifully. Tyrese, I thought, handled it well. But the dad was out of line. You cannot be running onto a court taunting anybody, but especially Giannis.
You can't do that. And plus, like,
if it would have been, I'll just keep this as simple as I can keep it. If that would have been John Morant's friend who ran out on a court and taunted Shai Gilgeous-Alexander after a Grizzlies victory in his face like that, holding up a towel of John Morant in his face, John Morant's friend would be banned from FedEx Forum.
It's true.
It's like true. Like that would not be allowed. And so why shouldn't John Halliburton be held to the same standard that, frankly, any other fan would be held to? Any fan runs out on the court and does that to Giannis Antetokounmpo in that moment is banned from the arena.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't John Halliburton be held to that same standard?
No, it's completely true. It's also weird, like, when that all happened, I'm surprised nobody intervene. I mean, obviously, like I'm sure security knows who he is, right? Like he's at all the games, like you know who he is, but even still to let it get like to that point was kind of like, whoa.
Well, it's one of those where it's like, oh, that's John Halliburton, that's Tyrese's father. He's just always, popping off and popping around and bouncing around, and nobody says none. And the next thing you know, you look up and he's like on the court face to face with Giannis, and you're like, we should have probably
intervened.
We should have probably done something about this.
Yeah.
We got a little loose with it, and then he got a little loose with it, and now we're the biggest story in the NBA in the week of the opening round of the playoffs. So, whatever. Everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Pacers and the Halliburtons probably did the appropriate thing there. He doesn't need to go unpunished, and they won't label this a punishment, but that's clearly what it is.
Right.
The guy is so excited about his son's basketball success that he can't help but run on the court and make a spectacle. You can assume from that alone that he would like to be at these games.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a punishment in some form, and I think one that's probably deserved.
Yeah.
Number 3.
So the Lakers season ended a couple nights ago, and then they had their exit interviews yesterday afternoon, and J.J. Redick was asked what they need to do this offseason, and do you know what J.J. Redick said?
What did he say?
I'll start with the offseason and the work that's required in an offseason to be in, quote, championship shape. We need to, as a team, get in, quote, championship shape. You're Luka Doncic, you hear that. What do you think? Because it comes on the heels of everybody who writes and talks about the NBA and some people who work in the NBA, including the general manager who traded you to Los Angeles, have all made a point to talk about you're not in shape. You don't get in shape. You don't stay in shape. You're not in basketball shape. You're lazy. And then literally the first thing your new coach says when asked about the offseason is we need to get in better shape. Like they're talking about you. Maybe not only you, but mostly you. How does that sit well with you? Does it make you respond and react, or does it shut you down and make you put in a plate of pizza rolls? Because some people eat when they get stressed out.
I know.
You have an eating problem.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you feel bad. You feel bad because you have an eating problem. And then how do you deal with that?
You stress eat.
You eat.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Like if I'm having a bad day, nothing makes it better than a little sweet treat.
Except
for that little 5 minutes. And then you feel like crap
and
afterwards.
then you feel like crap.
Yeah.
I did this the other day. I was having a bad day.
Why is it like that?
I was having a bad day.
Yeah.
And I had my little guy in the back seat, and I said, hey, you guys want anything? I had both my little guys. I said, you guys want any? Y'all guys want something? You hungry? Would you like me to drive through and get you something? And they said, Dad, we would really like to go by McDonald's because apparently McDonald's has something like a Minecraft something.
Yeah, Minecraft toys.
Maybe.
We got them.
Yeah. So I said, sure, let's go by McDonald's. I'm feeling a little bad. And they were like, I'll get this Minecraft thing and I'll get this Minecraft thing, whatever they wanted. And I was like, I'm going to get a McFlurry.
Yeah.
I deserve it.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
The machine worked?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was nice.
Nice. You got to get McDonald's, bro.
Only the best.
Only the best. Okay.
Only the best down south of the border.
Yeah.
But as soon as I finished my McFlurry, I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
It's not, you shouldn't be eating McFlurries at my age,
Or should you?
Or should you?
Yeah, you only live once, man.
Yeah, but you live longer if you don't eat McFlurries on a Monday afternoon.
Yeah, but what if it makes your mental health better?
I'm telling you it didn't. It made my mental health worse. I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump off the Clemente wall.
But does it cancel it? Like the 5 minutes that you were eating it, you felt like the best person in the world.
Haven't felt like the best person in the world in a while. That's part of my mental health struggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a McFlurry did not help.
It didn't help. Okay. Mm-hmm. No, so I get it. No, I was actually, people have been posting highlights of him when he, like early on in his Mavs career. And it is pretty insane, like the difference. I know he's a little older.
But he's not so old that he should be this so much heavier than he was then.
And again, we have to preface all of this by saying, like, NBA hip. Like, I would kill to look like Luka Doncic.
Oh, God, yeah. If Luka Doncic is just walking around the street, you'd be like, look at that guy. He's in good shape. It's just basketball.
Cut off my pinky to look like that guy.
It's just basketball
Don't get
shape.
it twisted, yes.
But I will say, I saw somebody joke about this. Like, this is what American food does to you.
Mm-hmm.
No exaggeration. Both of our exchange students, Diana from Germany, Sylvia from Italy, both gained They were in the United States for less than a year. Both gained 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Both gained significant amounts of weight and then dropped it as soon as they went back home. But while they were here, they both gained weight simply because
we don't regulate. We don't regulate properly.
I think there's some truth to that. It's the quality of food that they were eating and the amount of food that they were eating.
We serve everything in huge portions.
I've told this story before, but it is 100% true, and I think it fits here. I don't know that Luka has gained weight because of American food, but like, how else do you gain weight? He's running up and down a basketball court 3 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
How are you never in the shape that you need to be in?
Yeah, and I mean,
it's got to be eating on some level. It has to be.
For sure. And again, like I told you, like somebody posted like a highlight reel of him early on in his Mavs career. And, you know, like he's never been the most athletic guy, right? But it's a noticeable difference. Like he is
20 pounds,
dunking,
20 pounds lighter, he's going coast to coast
Yeah,
and punching it on people. Here's the story. Literally picked Diana up.
Mm-hmm.
It is our first day with her. And we're like, all right, like, let's go get some lunch. We went to Huey's. And she ordered, he was looking at the menu, burger, do you want fries with that? Sure.
Yeah.
Soda? Yeah, of course. They brought her just the normal. Like if you went to Huey's and you bought a burger and fries and a soda, exactly what they would bring you. They brought that to her, and the first thing she said was, why did they put so much food here? She couldn't grasp the amount of food that was on a plate in front of her. She was like blown away that there was that much food. You wouldn't even blink. It's just normal.
Mm-hmm.
It was not something her eyes were used to seeing. Why is all this food here?
Mm-hmm.
Then she would like sip her soda. It'd get like halfway done. Come back, they pull it, pour it, fill it back up to the top. She'd sip her soda. They'd pour it right back up to the top. Right before she's like, why do they keep doing that? This is not what they do in Germany. They wouldn't just keep filling your drink up. They'd wait till you're done, and you'd have to ask for another one if you want another one, but you probably wouldn't even want another one. Here, they just, every time you take a drink, they fill it back to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Like every way we do this stuff is crazy and unhealthy, like not healthy. We do not, I don't know if you heard about that. We don't live in the healthiest country. And a lot of it is just the food we eat and the amount of food that we eat. We eat too much. We're big eaters.
We're going to regulate it. We're working on regulating it.
Who's working on it?
You know who. He's regulating it.
I want to hear you say it, though. Who's fixing our problems?
RFK.
RFK is going to fix our problems.
That's what they're telling me.
I guess it depends on what channel you watch.
That's what that tab's telling me.
The For You tab? Mm-hmm. It says that RFK is going to fix all this?
We're regulating this stuff.
What if RFK's legacy is getting Luka in shape?
I think it would change a lot of opinions. Let me think.
What if RFK's legacy was getting Luka in shape?
It wouldn't be the worst legacy.
It's better than any legacy he has so far. Okay. So far, he's not got a lot of great legacy stuff attached to him. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He threw a dead bear in Central Park.
That's true. That was odd.
Starting a sexting relationship with some woman. At the Reporter. His legacy's not, can't talk.
Okay, but we're getting rid of red dye.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Where would I even find red dye?
In that bad stuff you're eating. Yeah.
Maybe RFK is going to fix Luka.
Uh-huh.
But imagine you're Luka and you hear JJ Redick say, hey, the first thing we got to do is get in shape. Doesn't that make you feel bad? How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel motivated or bad? It'd be like this. Think about if Pugs held a press conference for some reason, all right? Mm-hmm. And Pugs was like, listen, I think we're really good around here, but just sometimes I feel like if you're asking if we're going to have a better year, I just feel like collectively probably need to cut down on the movie talk, rap beefs, and anything about Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh shit, he's talking about me. Oh no.
Yes.
So like the first thing your coach says is we need to get in shape, and the only thing everybody says about you is you need to get in shape.
He ain't talking about LeBron.
He's not talking about Austin Reeves.
No, he's not.
Like it might as well have been JJ Redick said, like the first thing we need to do this offseason is get Luka's fat ass in shape. Like if he'd have said that, it wouldn't have, it was the same sentiment. Just a tough thing to hear about Giselle. Except if you heard that about Giselle, wouldn't you quite literally dedicate the offseason to two things? Getting in shape and becoming passable on defense.
Yes.
Like, what do I, like, as great as I am, he has reached a point. It's a lot like the point James Harden reached earlier in his career, where as great as you are, James Harden was an MVP. Got mocked. People stopped caring about he might be the best one-on-one player in the world and just started focusing on he guards nobody. It's embarrassing. He got mocked. Luka's reached that point. Nobody has spent the past 2 days talking about Luka Doncic is amazing. Right. It's like he's fat and he doesn't even try on defense.
And like I've told you, I think I still stand on, like I've said to you, I think he's the best player in the league. But clearly there's nothing that I can put out there to prove that right now.
If I were him, I would say, whatever my target weight is, I'm hitting it the day of training camp opens. When I report, you remember how we got to media day and everybody was sort of laughing because Marcus Smart's uniform didn't fit?
Yes.
And he was like, is this the right size? They were like, buddy, it's the same size you
Right.
It's the same size you used to wear, but it looks a little snug right now. And so then that was a thing.
Yeah.
The thing coming out of Lakers media day next year needs to be, you won't believe how Luka looks.
Yeah.
That's got to be the thing. And the thing from the first 3 weeks of the season has to be this. Man, he ain't going to win first team all defense, but he's trying. He's moving his feet. I saw somebody do a breakdown of just when Luka in Game 5 ended up as the primary defender. He gave up 41 points. Like, as the primary defender, he gave up 41 points. They were just going right by him. You don't want that to be connected to you, where people are now just waiting for you to get blown by so they can make it go viral on Twitter. I swear to God, that would be my thing. I'm going to come back and I'm going to be nobody is ever going to call me fat and lazy again.
Yeah.
All right? I'm changing that right now.
And he can change the defensive thing too easily. Like, I mean, dude, look at Ja. Like, Ja's not a great defender, but he was a pretty bad defender early on in his career. He's serviceable now. He did a decent job on guys this year.
There are physical limitations that prevent people from being elite defenders in some cases, right? But almost anybody who is athletic enough, even if they're unathletic relative to NBA standards, athletic enough to play in the NBA, you can be serviceable just by trying, just by trying.
Yes.
Just go out there and you know how hard Luka tries to create separation to get a shot off? Can you try that hard to stay in front of somebody? If you just do that, then these conversations stop. I don't even know the last time I saw somebody make a joking, mocking video of James Harden giving up baskets. I haven't seen one in a while. I used to see him every day.
Because he defends now.
He just tries a little bit harder.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
You have to get to a point where I don't want people saying that about me anymore. They can say other things about me, but they're not going to say this. I'm not going to let, like when Charles Barkley is sitting on TV saying you need to get in shape. That's tough. That's tough. Shaquille O'Neal on TV talking about you need to get in shape. That's tough. If I were Luka, and then your coach comes out exit interviews, it's like the first thing he says. That would be my offseason. They can say whatever they want to me about me next October. They're not going to say these things ever again. They will not say these things about me ever again. We'll see if he's wired that way. Nico thinks he's not. That's among the reasons they moved him. I don't think he's wired the right way to change. We'll see. But this is a big offseason for him. If we're sitting around next April, May, talking about Luka Doncic still doesn't guard and Luka Doncic still is heavy, then maybe he's not wired the right way.
Number 4.
This is just about the craziest Powerball story you've ever heard. You hear about this?
What's going on?
A fella in Kentucky.
You can stop right there.
His name's James Farthing. He's 50 years old.
What a name.
On Saturday, he bought a Powerball ticket the way millions of people do. And it hit. $67 million. Damn. 50 years old. Got the ticket on Saturday. Numbers on Saturday night.
It's the American
on
dream.
Monday, he is holding the big check, $167 million. He could either take it, annual payments for 30 years, or the lump sum right now. Just here, you want it? $77 million. $77 million. So him and his girlfriend decide they're going to go down to Florida they're going to celebrate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Take the picture with the big check, $167 million on a Monday, arrested on Tuesday.
Oh.
Go to a nice resort in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Bar fight. Cops come. Kicks a cop in the face. He's in jail. The same guy, what I'm about to tell you is true. The same guy that won Powerball this past Saturday night is currently, right now, in jail in Florida.
Well, don't they say that people that win the Powerball, like, typically bad things happen to them?
They do say that, but give me a shot at it.
Yeah, I'd like that chance.
Yeah.
I'd like to take my chances.
Drop $77 million on me. Let's see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'd like a shot. The reason, not necessarily bad things, but often people blow it, is because often you are handing an incredible amount of money to people who have no wherewithal to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think of, because this guy, oh, by the way, you start reading, like, he's been an idiot his whole life.
Oh, no.
Like, constant, he's been arrested multiple times. He's just, think of the idiot you went to high school with. We all know this guy. Like, I just heard a story the other day. Somebody was like, hey, did you ever, so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, I grew up around him. And they're like, you hear what's going on with him? I was like, no. And the next 5 minutes was like, Jesus, God, really? That's a lot. That's a lot of times to be arrested.
Yeah.
We all know somebody like this.
Of course.
Where it does, every time you hear a story about them, it's the same type of story, and it is unsurprising. You'd think they'd stop fighting in bars when they were 22. But nope, they were still doing it in 32 and 42 and 52, and they just never stopped. They just always, that's who they are. That's who this guy is.
Yeah.
And they just dropped $77 million on him. And you think, man, $77 million, just enjoy your life. But this is still a guy who,
whether he's wired this way,
whether he's got $77 million or 77 cents, he's ready to fight in a bar if it's time to fight in a bar. And his girlfriend, she got into the fight too. It was like a couple's fight, the whole deal.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, they both went to jail. Can you imagine winning Powerball on a Monday and going to jail on a Tuesday?
Well, at least he can bail himself out.
But he's still in there as of this morning.
Yeah, what's going on? The bail must be astronomical.
It can't be that astronomical. This dude could get Diddy out of jail, I think.
That's probably true. No, it's why the saying, good things happen to good people, is the dumbest saying of all time.
Sometimes good things happen to good people. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. And sometimes bad things happen to bad people. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
And sometimes good things happen to bad people.
Like here.
Yeah, seems like here.
Like in this instance.
Yeah. But, like, these types of stories are always crazy because you're like, how could you? Except just because somebody gets $77 million, it doesn't change who they are.
Mm-hmm.
This guy didn't get $77 million dropped on him and suddenly become a Harvard-educated lawyer raising a family in the suburbs. He's still the guy who got arrested a year ago for some nonsense and 6 weeks before that for some nonsense. This is a criminal,
bro,
knucklehead who got $77 million dropped on him and went straight to the bar to fight.
If I won $77 million, you would never hear from me again. I'd go live in the woods.
You would maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'd go build me a house out in the middle of nowhere.
But I guarantee you this fella, has at some point said something like what you said. Like, man, if I ever got like $80 million, I tell you what.
I'm going to change everything.
You wouldn't catch me in a bar raising hell no more.
Literally, au contraire.
Literally won Powerball and the next day in the bar fighting.
Dang. Can Powerball revoke? Because I guess there's no stipulations. Doesn't matter who wins.
In all seriousness, if you're Hulu, Netflix, get on this right now.
Oh, yeah.
Get the camera crew.
Yeah.
You want this dude and his girlfriend on a reality show.
For sure.
Here's $77 million to a couple of knuckleheads with criminal records. Let's just see. You have no idea where it's going. But I bet it's going to be fun.
I bet it'll be fun, too.
Get the cameras on that couple.
Yeah.
I want to see where they go from here.
Number 5.
Thunderbolts is the big Marvel release this weekend. Here's what I read about it, Benny. You tell me.
What do you gather?
Here's what I read. This is what I gather.
Okay.
Thunderbolts is not the Avengers.
No, but they are a faction.
They live in the same world.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly obscure characters.
Yes.
Reviews are great.
Yeah, the reviews are really good. It doesn't look like it's going to have like some massive weekend at the box office.
Are you going to support it or not? Are you going to support this film or not?
Yeah, I'm going to try to see it this weekend. I want to see it.
Have you seen all the Marvel movies? Like if I said, are you up to date on Marvel? You could say yes.
Yes,
How
I've
about
seen
that?
all of them.
How do you
I've
even
seen
have that
all
much
of them.
time?
Well, I think that's the problem here is I think like after the last two Avengers movies, Infinity War and Endgame, that was like the culmination of everything that she'd built up for years, which is kind of crazy to think. Today's the anniversary of when the first Iron Man came out, which was only 17 years ago. I would have thought we've been doing this way longer than that.
Also, today's the anniversary of Trivia Time. Do you know? Significant moment in world history.
It's the anniversary.
You're a history major. Let's see.
It's the anniversary of... Today's May 2nd?
May 2nd.
I don't know.
On this day, in some year, can't remember, Osama bin Laden was killed.
Oh, man. And that's because we had John Cena announce it on one of the... I guess it was... Wait, we weren't doing Friday Night SmackDown, though.
I remember
this. Would have had to been like a pay-per-view or something.
It was a Sunday night.
Yeah, it was a Sunday.
So it's May. I got confused when I first read it because it was like May 2nd is the anniversary of Osama bin Laden's death, and I looked at the date May 2nd and it was a Monday, and I was like, it feels like I was at Music Fest when the news broke.
Yes. Okay.
So it was May 2nd in Pakistan,
mm-hmm.
but the time Osama bin Laden was actually killed, Central Time,
mm-hmm.
it was like 3 o'clock Central, 3 p.m., 3 in the afternoon on that Sunday of Music Fest. And then it got announced to the world later that night. I just remember being at Music Fest. I looked it up today. Wilco was there. It was like Wilco and Avett Brothers and whatever. But I remembered that. I remember when I first heard Osama bin Laden's dead, I was at Music Fest. And that was, today's the anniversary of that.
How about that?
So it was May 2nd in Pakistan.
Gotcha.
But when we heard about it, it was still May 1st. So he died on May 2nd, but in this part of the world, it was still May 1st.
Gotcha.
Rest in...
No.
No,
absolutely not.
Do not.
Don't go there.
Don't rest at all.
Yeah.
Don't rest at all.
So Thunderbolts. I think the reason being, like you said, it's obscure but it's getting really good reviews. But I do just think after those last two Avengers movies, which were like the big culmination, there's been some fatigue. You had some good stuff, some good movies, good shows between. But I just think there's so much that I think you have a certain portion of people that might have gone and seen some of these bigger movies in theaters once upon a time that are like, I gave up a long time ago. Like I can't keep up with the timeline anymore. Like if you went and saw this, like you would, I mean, I'm sure it's a good movie to just go see standalone by itself, but I would venture to say there's probably some stuff you need to know from previous movies or shows that would, help you understand what's going on in this movie.
I don't know. I know that I'm out a long time ago. Like it just became too much.
Yeah.
I don't have that many hours in my life to be watching this many movies and television shows and spinoffs and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Okay.
I'm
Can
done.
I interest you in Fantastic Four? That's coming out in a few weeks.
Probably not.
Okay.
Unless
and
my
then we'll
kid-
have a new Avengers movie next year.
Woo-hoo!
So we're building up to that.
All
Again,
right.
we're coming back.
I can't wait for that.
So no, this one's supposed to be good. If you do want to go see it, I would say probably the movies or shows that you would want to watch post Avengers Endgame and Infinity War would be Black Widow, because there's a lot of those characters in it. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is on Disney Plus, the show, and probably Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I don't think we have time for that.
I would say those three post Endgame are the three things that you want to watch leading up to Thunderbolts. I'm excited about it, man.
I couldn't be less.
Florence Pugh's the star. She's Yelena.
Is she fighting with anybody this time?
She's gonna be kicking a lot of ass in this movie.
Who'd
as a
she
matter of
fight
fact.
with in the last movie she was in with? Didn't she get sideways with somebody? Olivia Wilde, maybe? Did Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh hate each other? Is that true?
No, it was what's her name? The girl that was in James Bond. She played the Taskmaster.
No, it was
Taskmaster.
It was Olivia Wilde.
Who was
Olivia Wilde made "Don't Worry, Darling" with Florence Pugh and Harry Styles.
Oh, you mean in real life?
I guess real life.
I thought you were talking about in the MCU, bro. I was like, who was Yelena beating up? No, okay, I got it. I'm following.
I'm back in the real world.
Okay.
Florence Pugh and Olivia Wilde got sideways because Florence Pugh didn't like that her director. I mean, I just read that. I don't know what Florence Pugh likes. I never talked to her. But what I read was she didn't like the director hooking up with her co-star. Like, hey, let's make a movie. Let's not bang our lead actor.
I remember that as well.
Yeah.
That movie was okay.
Didn't see it.
It was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't my favorite. It was okay.
Okay.
Worth watching, I think.
I hope this experience was more pleasant for Florence Pugh.
Yeah. I think it will be. I think it will be. And I think it'll be good.
Hey, congrats to Thunderbolts for being made.
By the way, we also the Revenge, it's Star Wars Day on May 4th. It's coming up. Yeah,
right.
on Sunday.
Okay.
Star Wars Day.
Oh, wow.
Revenge of the Sith is back in theaters. It's over $900 million at the global box office. That's pretty good for a re-release.
They just re-released it?
Yeah, they just put it back out in theaters and everybody's going to see it because they just were like, oh, I didn't get a chance. Maybe I wasn't old enough to go see it.
There's no way it's done 900 more million. Bennett, that can't be right. It's got to be 900 million total.
Like from the beginning?
Yes, of course.
Like they're adding the way back when numbers to the new numbers?
You think they just threw an old movie back in the theaters? Like they just put Dirty Dancing back in the theaters and make $900 million?
I wanted to believe that. Well, I was led astray then by the headline.
I think you've been led astray.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, but it doesn't sound.
It wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't. The other thing
me,
doesn't make any sense.
As you say this to me, that would make no sense at all.
Bennett got into his edibles.
I did. I saw that. And I was like,
Bennett got into his edibles.
People still love Star Wars.
Not
this
that
is amazing.
much. Not that much. Bennett got into his edibles.
Damn it.
Revenge of the Sith is popular, but not that popular.
By the way, if you want to tie this whole conversation into sports,
I want to end this whole conversation.
Also wanted to add, Anthony Edwards did an interview recently. He said his favorite movie of all time, Matilda.
Okay. What do you want me to do about that?
That's random.
I guess so.
Were you not surprised that Anthony Edwards' favorite movie ever is Matilda?
I'm not surprised by anything Anthony Edwards does or says.
It's just I would have guessed 1,000 movies before I would have gotten to Matilda.
Yeah, I never thought about what Anthony Edwards' favorite movie might be.
Yeah.
So Matilda makes as much sense as anything else to me, I guess.
Okay.
I guess. All right. Enough of this. Be back in a second.
All right. Bye.
In honor of George Foreman, decided to do a pick six on 6 greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
Number 4, my guy, Mike Tyson. There is no greater feat that I've had. Like if I had my Mount Rushmore of things that I've accomplished in my life, the very first time I beat Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Bain drives.
Oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jared with a knockaway.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
I need cameras to capture every waking moment between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same team. The pregame prayers will be generational.
Because that's preacher and a deacon. That's what we're talking about here. That prayer's going to be 40 minutes. We're going to miss the anthem.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a
sticking.
lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think
do?
you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but let's focus on a big NBA headline that has happened in the past hour or so. Since we've been talking about J.J. Redick and Luka Doncic and Brian Gregory and Tyrese Halliburton's father, the San Antonio Spurs have announced that Greg Popovich is retiring, effective immediately, moving into a front office role. And Mitch Johnson, a San Antonio Spurs assistant coach, is the franchise's new head coach. End of an era in San Antonio.
Yeah, man.
Sad that it had to end this way. Obviously, Pop got to coach a long time, longer than most, but a stroke ended it abruptly.
Yep.
And there was some thought that he would eventually return to coaching, but now we get confirmation that he will not. One of the greatest coaches of all time, arguably the greatest basketball coach of all time, is now done coaching basketball. I guess if you're a Grizzlies fan and you want to look at this in a really narrow lens, if you are somebody who is hoping that the Grizzlies at least look outside of Thomas Isolo as a possible future head coach, you're glad that the Spurs just went ahead and promoted from within. Because if the Spurs and Grizzlies were both out there looking for a next head coach and you're considering the same candidates.
Oh, yeah, good point.
If a candidate had an option between Memphis and San Antonio, they would probably take San Antonio, if for no other reason than Victor Wembanyama.
Yes.
But also Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox. And that place is set up to go.
No, they're coming, yep.
Yeah. So at least now you don't have to deal with that. Like, this is maybe the simplest way to put it. A job better than your job opened and filled in the past hour. Without it taking any potential candidates for you off of the board. So that's a good thing. Perhaps a moot point, because if you're just going to promote from within, it doesn't matter. If you're going to do what they did, promote from within, it does not matter. But if you are looking outside of your interim coach for a possible permanent head coach, you wouldn't want to be shopping at the same time the San Antonio Spurs are shopping.
Right.
So the good news is they're out the store now. They're done shopping. They're not looking for a head coach. Greg Popovich out. And Mitch Johnson in.
What's today's biggest game?
Well, we're going to go to the Chase Center out in San Francisco. Rockets and the Warriors. Golden State 5.5-point favorite. Totals 206.5. Tips at 8 o'clock on ESPN. How you going to act?
I mean, I know it's a closeout game, and I would expect Houston to, show up and keep it competitive for a while. But I just got to think Oklahoma City, the Warriors pull away pretty late. I will say Warriors win by double digits tonight.
The Warriors win by double digits tonight, close out the Houston Rockets, and advance to a series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's what we want, right?
Yeah.
That's just more fun.
It's just more fun.
Anthony Edwards on one side, Steph Curry on the other.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards and Draymond Green popping off to each other.
Rudy Gobert and Draymond Green.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want.
Yes.
Go Warriors.
Go Warriors.
I say go Warriors because I want to see that. I want to see Minnesota, Golden State. So let's lay the points tonight. Go Warriors.
What are we watching on TV?
Can I interest you in SmackDown? 7 o'clock. USA Network, live from Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
Randy Orton will be in attendance. He's headed for a showdown with John Cena. Are you interested at all in Randy Orton and John Cena?
I mean, I get it. I get it, right? Like when that happened, when he came out and RKO'd Cena, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Same era. They're both like kind of legends of the sport. Like it makes sense for them to have a rivalry.
I like Randy Orton. You don't like Randy Orton?
I do. I just it doesn't do anything for me.
He looks the right way.
Of course he does.
He looks like
he's a physical specimen, no question.
Like if you just looked at wrestlers, who were the two wrestlers on men and women's side that just look?
Mm-hmm.
They just, man, that's what a wrestler's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Man, I like looking at that. It's Randy Orton or Roman Reigns. Randy Orton, one of those.
Yep.
And then on the women's side, you know who it is?
Bianca Belair.
I was going to say Jade Cargill.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. It's her.
Jade looks like the right way.
Yes. It's definitely her.
You know what the streets are saying?
What?
She can't wrestle. But she looks the right way. But she struggles with the wrestling. I can't speak to that.
Really
That's none of my business.
I haven't really noticed that.
I
think she's pretty good.
I've noticed.
You've noticed? Okay.
I've noticed it. But she looks the right way. And Randy Orton looks the right way.
Yeah.
I like the way Randy Orton looks.
I do too.
And by that I mean I would like to look like Randy Orton.
And I will say, like,
as a fellow bald man, I wouldn't mind looking. I wish the rest of me looked more like Randy Orton than just like here's where I look like Randy Orton from like here to here.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
I look like Randy Orton from there to there. Like if you didn't know nothing else about me and you just saw that, you'd be like, man, I bet that dude looks like Randy Orton. And then I'd be like, it's me. And you'd be like, oh, shit.
Damn.
Right.
It's fine. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Let's turn it on.
I'll be at a rehearsal dinner tonight, so I'm going to miss it. But I'll watch the replay.
Watch the replay.
Yeah.
I'll text you if anything interesting happens.
Let me know.
I'll let you know in the Algeria Strong group text.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's the best thing we've read?
I don't know if it's the best thing, but it's the most interesting thing. It's the lead headline over at CBSSports.com right now. Ex-Panthers receiver Steve Smith is being sued. Remember the alleged affair he had?
Yes.
So he had an affair, allegedly, with a Panthers band member. They have a band.
Mm-hmm. Which, who knew?
Who knew? So Steve Smith starts hooking it with a band member. Her husband finds out. Her husband calls Steve Smith, recorded it, posted it online. The whole thing it was bad for everybody.
Oh, yeah, it was bad.
It was bad for everybody. Gets worse. Apparently in the state of North Carolina, they have something called the home wrecker law.
Yeah, I saw this.
Steve Smith is allegedly in violation of the home wrecker law.
I'm pro home wrecker law.
I think I'm pro home wrecker law too.
I think it might change our society. People be more careful out there.
I think people should maybe be more careful.
People might think twice before making a spur of the moment decision.
I hope so. I hope so.
I like the home wrecker law.
He's being sued for more than $100,000 under the home wrecker law.
How about that?
Imagine getting hit with a lawsuit.
$100,000?
More than $100,000.
Well, that ain't nothing to Steve Smith. $100,000 and multi-millionaire.
If you were Steve Smith, would you be willing to wreck a home if it would only cost you $100,000?
Well, I mean, clearly he doesn't care. But I respect the, it's not about the money. It's about
the principle of it.
It's the principle of it.
Don't wreck my home.
Don't wreck my home, or you're paying me $100,000.
Even if you can afford it, don't wreck my home. Huh?
Yeah.
I like the home wrecker law.
I think it's pretty good. Let's make that a national law.
I think we'd have some pushback.
What state would push back the most? What state would fight the home wrecker law the most?
California.
I was going to say Florida.
Probably Florida.
I was going to say Florida. Things get wild in like Miami.
But you know where things actually get wild?
Huh?
Like in the places where you don't think they're wild. In
Yeah.
the places where you think, oh, yeah, there's just like a little normal thing. And then you go, no, it's not at all.
What big city do you think the most cheating happens in?
Salt Lake City.
Oh, you know what? That's actually a really good answer.
I saw them Mormon wives.
That's actually a great answer.
I saw them Mormon girls on Hulu.
That's actually a great answer. I was going to say Miami.
I couldn't get enough of that story. Not enough of it to where I watched the stupid Hulu documentary.
Yeah.
But like, I just kind of was fascinated by the idea.
Yeah.
These are all friends.
I watched it. Yeah.
You watched the whole thing?
Yes. Well, my wife did, and I, watched it too.
Was it worthwhile? I was just like, all I knew was this.
It is worth it.
They're like friends.
Uh-huh.
It was like the husbands are friends and the wives are friends.
Yep.
And then they all started sleeping together.
Yep.
And then it got real, and
then two of them got closer than they should have. Yep. I don't think the home wrecker law would work there though, because they kind of all started it like, I don't think
Utah would be against the home wrecker law
for sure.
intensely.
For sure.
There ain't no way you're getting a home wrecker law passed in Utah. I bet you $5 on that.
Vegas.
Vegas would be tough.
I mean, yeah, the hookers, right?
The hookers would not vote for the home wrecker law.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You can't be out there turning tricks for $2,000 and getting hit with a $100,000 lawsuit because you're a home wrecker.
Right. Yeah.
Can't get out there. Except here's the thing. I told you the story once upon a time, and then I told you the story about the AAU basketball referee out in Vegas.
I love that story.
Okay, like I won't even bore you with the story again.
Yeah.
But as I was talking to people about it, I was like, that's crazy, man. She just robbed this dude blind. And because we were having this conversation at the blackjack table the next night, and the dealer was having the conversation with us.
Yeah.
And I was telling her the story. I'm all into it. I'm like, yeah, he's a basketball official. And he got the girl and took her up to the room, and she was like, let's go out on the balcony. And he was like, okay. And she was like, you lead the way. And he walked out on the balcony. She slammed the door and locked him out, butt naked, on the balcony. All right. And then robbed him, robbed everything out of the room. I was like, that is crazy. Because all this guy's got to do is go to the cops, file a report. You pull the cameras from the from the hallway. You're gonna ID this woman coming out the room.
That's right.
That's pretty brazen.
Case closed.
Case closed. And you know what the blackjack dealer said? Obviously, and I hadn't thought it all the way through.
He's married.
That's right. The first thing they look for is this. When they see that, they know you ain't calling the cops, no matter what. All right.
Right.
Once they see that wedding ring, they can rob you blind and not be worried at all about you calling the cops, because you just have to chalk it up as a loss. I can't file a police report with my name on it. Are you crazy? Just chalk it up as a loss. Them hookers would be against the home wrecker law. I know that for sure. I know that 100% sure.
Yeah.
So be careful out there, man. And that goes for everybody.
Yeah, it does.
I think that goes for everybody.
What's on tap next week?
Man, who knows?
Who knows, man?
Who knows? Got the Kentucky Derby this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The horse is going to win it, I bet. One of them horses.
I like the Derby. I'm going to be at a wedding, though.
You ready for this? I don't care.
Oh, I like the Derby.
I don't care. There'll be Kentucky Derby parties tomorrow, and we'll be invited to them, maybe. And then we'll skip that. And I don't even know that I'll turn it. I just don't.
I like it.
I don't care. I know people will go to Southland and watch the Derby, and I don't, even if I'm at home in front of my TV, I don't even care.
I like it. I get my kid to tell me his favorite horse, and then that's who we roll with.
It's just over. It's over.
Yeah.
It takes 2 minutes.
That's okay. Well, you get the lead up races and stuff.
I know it's beautiful and the pageantry, and I just don't care. I'm looking forward to watching Rockets Warriors. I'm not looking forward to watching the Kentucky
Americana.
I know what you're saying.
It's Americana.
I know what you're saying.
It's like apple pie.
I like apple pie.
Yeah.
I'll turn it on.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
I don't know anything. I had to hit up Drew Hill. He's a big Kentucky Derby aficionado and get a pick.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll look back at the Kentucky Derby on Monday. We'll see where we're at with these NBA playoffs, and I'm certain it'll be a great week. I can't wait for it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your whole weekend.
Yep.
Let's meet back here Monday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.